As two members of BTS who are known to have close ties, Kim Taehyung, V, and Jungkook are often in the spotlight of fans. Their relationship that looks warm, full of jokes, and natural closeness makes many people consider them as true friends. However, lately, Taehyung seems to be starting to notice a change in attitude from Jungkook that makes him surprised and wondering. Since their debut in BTS, Taehyung and Jungkook have shown a unique friendship dynamic. Taehyung, who is more extroverted and full of surprises, often flirts with Jungkook, who has a more reserved nature but is always willing to follow Taehyung's behavior. Many of their sweet moments are captured in various videos, both on BTS's reality shows and in moments behind the scenes. Jungkook often shows his spoiled side to Taehyung, while Taehyung seems to enjoy the role of a big brother who always supports Jungkook. On many occasions, the two look so familiar, as if there is no distance between them. Fans who witnessed this closeness often felt that their friendship was so sincere and natural. However, in recent times, something has changed. Taehyung begins to feel that something has changed in Jungkook's attitude towards him. If in the past Jungkook was always enthusiastic when asked to joke or spend time together, now he seems more closed and keeps his distance. This change felt so striking that Taehyung couldn't ignore it. Taehyung first noticed something was different when they were together in the rehearsal room. Usually, Jungkook always sits nearby and casually participates in talking or joking with other members. But this time, Jungkook was more silent and chose to sit a little further away. During choreography rehearsals, Taehyung tries to approach Jungkook to talk to him, but Jungkook's response feels different. There was no warmth as usual. Jungkook answered briefly and did not show enthusiasm as he used to do. Taehyung tries to take it as a normal thing. Maybe Jungkook is tired or something is bothering him. However, similar events continue to repeat themselves. When BTS goes live to interact with fans, Taehyung notices that Jungkook is no longer seeking his attention as usual. If before Jungkook often threw jokes or looked at him meaningfully, now he talks more with other members or only focuses on his own questions. Taehyung starts to feel that something is wrong. Did he make a mistake? Is there something bothering Jungkook? Feeling curious and a little worried, Taehyung finally decides to speak directly to Jungkook. After the training ended, he looked for an opportunity to talk one-on-one with his little brother. "Jungkook, I have something to ask you," Taehyung said as they prepared to leave. Jungkook turned his head briefly before nodding. "What is it, Hyung?" Taehyung took a breath. "I feel like you've changed a bit lately. You shut up more and stay away from me. Is something going on?" Jungkook seemed surprised by the question, but then he averted his eyes. There was a pause before he answered, as if he were considering something. "It's nothing, Hyung," Jungkook said finally in a low voice. "I'm just thinking a lot." That answer did not satisfy Taehyung. "About what?" His insistence. Jungkook bit his lip before finally saying, "I just feel like we can't go on like we used to." Jungkook finally raised his face, and this time his eyes showed emotions that were difficult to explain. "I'm not a kid anymore, Hyung. I feel like there are limits that we have to keep. I don't want to depend too much on you." The answer left Taehyung speechless. All this time, she always perceived their relationship as something natural and did not need to think too far. But now Jungkook is talking about limits and change. After that conversation, Taehyung couldn't stop thinking about Jungkook's words. He understands that everyone changes over time, but still, this change feels so sudden to him. Taehyung begins to recall the moments they spent together. How Jungkook used to always turn his head to her whenever they joked on stage. How Jungkook always sought refuge in her when he felt uncomfortable. It all feels like memories that are slowly fading away. When they perform at a music show, Taehyung tries to be ordinary and stay cheerful as usual. However, there was a feeling of emptiness that he could not ignore. Jungkook is still being nice, but something is missing. The warmth and spontaneity that used to always be between them. On the other hand, Jungkook also experienced an inner upheaval that was not easy. He never intended to hurt Taehyung or make him feel neglected. However, there was something inside her that made her feel like she had to take this step. Jungkook has pondered a lot about his feelings. He begins to realize that his dependence on Taehyung may have gone too deep, not just as a friend, but more than that. Jungkook fears his feelings will deepen and eventually disrupt their relationship. He thought that if he continued to be too close, it would be difficult for him to control his emotions. Therefore, she chooses to slowly withdraw, even if it means hurting herself and, unknowingly, also hurting Taehyung. Taehyung and Jungkook's story shows how complex human relationships can be, even among friends who have been together for years. There are times when such a warm closeness can actually cause confusion and emotional upheaval that is difficult to express in words. For Taehyung, this change is something painful, but he also understands that everyone has their own journey. He didn't want to force Jungkook to stay the same as before if it made him feel uncomfortable. However, deep down, Taehyung hopes that one day they can find a point of balance again, a relationship where they can stay close without any burdensome confusion. Meanwhile, Jungkook is still trying to understand his own feelings. He knew that withdrawing was not easy, but he felt it was a decision that had to be made. However, is the decision correct? Or is he just running away from something that should be faced? Only time will tell how the journey of their relationship will continue. For sure, behind all these changes, there is still a strong sense of caring between them, something that will not easily disappear. The days passed, but Taehyung still couldn't shake the odd feeling in his heart. Although he tried to be ordinary, something felt empty. Jungkook's change of attitude was not just a momentary phase, but something that completely changed the dynamics of their relationship. As someone who always puts other people's feelings first, Taehyung begins to question himself. Is he demanding too much attention from Jungkook? Did he not realize that Jungkook was burdened by their closeness? However, the more he thought about it, the harder it was for him to understand Jungkook's reasons for withdrawing. If Jungkook feels too dependent on her, shouldn't they be able to talk about it together? Aren't they close enough to solve any problem? Taehyung doesn't want to press Jungkook, but he also can't keep pretending he doesn't care. Their relationship was not something that could be allowed to simply disappear without explanation. One night, when their schedules are a little looser, Taehyung decides to try talking to Jungkook again. He waits until Jungkook returns to his dorm after additional rehearsals in the studio. When Jungkook walked into the living room, Taehyung was already sitting there with a cup of tea in his hand. He looked at Jungkook with a calm, but meaningful expression. Jungkook, can we talk for a minute? Jungkook, who had expected this conversation to come, sighed softly before nodding and sitting on the sofa in front of Taehyung. I've tried to ignore this, but I can't, Taehyung said, his voice soft but full of sincerity. I want to know the real reason, not just because we've grown up, or because you don't want to depend on me.